Hello. Good morning to you. Just a quick word to encourage someone this morning. This message is particularly for someone who has been dying for restoration. You've been waiting for restoration in your marriage, in your family, in the lives of your children, in so many things, in the various areas of your life that you've been trusting God for, and you're asking yourself, God, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? Let me just share something briefly with you from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1, verse 7. In fact, let me Acts chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. He said, when they were therefore come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Let me read again, Acts chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. He said, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Verse 7 says, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. Verse 8, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost is come upon you. And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth. Now I'm sharing this with you in what I want to call times of restoration or seasons of restoration will come. Some of us, we've been trusting God for many years, many times for restoration in our lives. Maybe sometimes sickness, and a loved one has been sick, or you yourself have been battling with disease. For some reason, you've been trusting God for many years, crying out to Him, and yet you haven't received that breakthrough. And you're asking God many questions. God, when are you going to take this disease away from me? When are you going to restore my health? Maybe a marriage breakdown that you've tried your best. You've gone through serious mess, serious frustration and confusion and depression and hurt. You've been hurt so badly that you don't even know how things are going to be fixed. And as a believer, you've held on to your faith. You've prayed to God many times, God, when are you going to restore my marriage? Maybe your children have gone astray. There's a breakdown of relationship between you and your children, or between you and other members of your family for whatever reason. And you've tried your best to get things fixed, but it's not working. You've lost that joy, that vitality. You've lost that hope, that trust that you had for people. And you keep asking God, when are you going to restore this again? The disciples were on, the Hebrew people, the Jewish people were under Roman rule when Jesus came. Politically, they were controlled by Rome. And they thought that Jesus had come to restore the kingdom, taking it away from the Roman rule back to themselves. That God will be the center of everything. They will have their joy, their freedom of worship, and their freedom politically and socially and economically. But they kept asking Jesus, Lord, will you, before Jesus left for heaven, they asked him the question, Lord, will you at this time, before you depart, are you going to restore again the kingdom unto Israel? You may have questions that you have not received answers. When is it that God is going to do this? Now, there are certain things that God has put it in His own power. There are certain things that God will do while you are alive. And there are some things that God will do when you are not alive. There are certain things God will do when your children are young. And there are certain things He will do when they are old. When you have committed things to God, wait for His perfect time and season. So they said, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? Jesus said, it is not your business. It is not for you to know the times or the seasons. Now let me say this to you, my good friend. There are times and seasons that God has put in place in your life, in my life. There is a time that God will bring your joy. There is a time that God will bring your peace. There is a time for birth and a time for death. There are times of joy and times of laughter. Life is full of times and seasons. When you don't know when God is going to move, don't conclude God is not going to move. Wait for His time. There are things He has committed unto His own power. He will do it when He is ready. He will do it when there's time for it. So my good friend, I want to say this to encourage you. Jesus is saying to you, there are times and seasons of His divine visitation. You've prayed for so long. You've trusted for so long. Don't give up hope. Wait for His perfect time. If the answers are not coming now, they will come later on. If the results are not coming now, they will come later on. You've been praying for the salvation of your loved ones. Your children seems to go astray all the time. You pray. Don't give up praying. The time of their salvation will come. The time of healing will come. The times of restoration. You think you can never enter into your joy again. You started your life with great enthusiasm, with vitality, with confidence and assurance and optimism. And it looks like you've lost them all. Don't give up. The times and seasons that God has set for your visitation and restoration will come. So He said, it is not for you to know the times and the seasons which the Father has put in His own power. If it is not in your power, let it go. Let the Father handle it. Let the Father handle it. There are many experiences in my life, in the life of my loved ones, that after I prayed to God, I let God have His way. And I believe that when the time is right, you will do what is needful. When the time is right, you will experience God's breakthrough and restoration and joy. They said, look, I just want you to get on with your life. I just want you to receive the inner power. He said, you will receive power after the Holy Ghost have come upon you. And you'll be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and unto the ends of the earth. In other words, just do what I want you to do. Just let me empower you to carry on. Let me empower you to do what you are assigned to do and leave the rest to me. May God strengthen you. May God empower you. And I want to end by saying this, that my good friend, don't stop trusting God. You may have questions that you've not got the answers yet. God has put all things in His time. The time of joy will come. You will never experience sadness throughout. Sadness is part of our lives. Grief is part of our lives. You will not grieve forever. You've lost a loved one, but you will not grieve forever. May God set an appointed time for you and for me, that when the time comes, we will experience His peace, His joy, His restoration. The time that God has set for your breakthrough will come. The time that God has set for your healing will come. God richly bless you.